Okay, so here we have an iPad, and this iPad is A2197, 2017, I think, iPad that has a lot of damage. So, as you can see, the screen is cracked and broke away, and I don't think there's much left of the digitizer anyways. So let's just power it up and see what it does. If it has any signs of, because it may just be the digitizer. So we'll have a look and see if we can get it to power up. Which should. Battery, there we go. Okay, the screen's coming to life. And we won't know if it's got cracks all over it until it turns all the way on, but okay, so yeah, there are issues here with this screen. I'm seeing moisture damage in this area on the screen. Somehow moisture or condensation of some kind has gotten in there and caused the staining that you can see. It's hard to see on camera probably, but there's definitely a stain that goes roughly around this area where my finger is tracing. So we're going to take it apart and we're going to replace the digitizer, but also if we have to, we'll replace that the screen as well, the LCD. So because if it was a little bit of water, sometimes you can get lucky, and after a little bit of usage it will dry up and become not so noticeable. But unfortunately, we don't know if it is water, and it works its way between the layers of the LCD filament, which is usually permanent damage. So we'll need to change that in order to fix the problem. So let's get going on it and see what we can do. So it's going to get noisy here. We're going to record a little bit of this. But basically, we're just very gently going to heat the glass around the edges, and we're going to use a suction cup and pick method to remove the glass from the device. So here we go with a little bit of noise. You don't want to focus too much on one spot, because if you do, you can damage the internals. Or if you want to save the old LCD for some testing purposes or whatever, not that it might be any good, but you could probably just hang on to that for testing purposes. Now, just every once in a while make sure your heat is, by the way, down at the lowest setting. I got mine about 100 degrees, and so that's as low as it goes, and I just want to get it warm so that the glue becomes a little bit less solid. It will be a little more easy to lift the edge if the glue is not as solid. So you just want to keep running up and down the edge just until you get it a little bit warm. Don't get it too hot. You just want it enough to get the pick under there, and you want that glue to be a little soft. Again, open up this, get it down there. So we're under now. And what you want to do is just slowly, you're not too worried about this screen because it's already broken, but It's always a good practice, and it's easier to get it off in as little pieces as you can, or as big a pieces as you can, sorry, with as little breakage as you can get. So we're just gonna, and if you find it gets a little difficult or tight, no harm in going back with the heater, heating and going back and just warming up a little bit more. Okay, so now you can see that I've got this thing open, and believe me, that ain't fun. So anyway, it's open, and you're gonna have, I mean, there's no pretty way to do this. There's glass fragments everywhere. Like I said, if you have packing tape, probably best to try that. At least if you've got a lot of little shards, it's not gonna really matter. You're never gonna get it off 100% clean without fragments of glass. Anyway. So it's off now. So the next step will be to remove the plugs. As long as you were very careful, I should have made that, stressed that, you have to be very careful you don't just chop through everything with a knife or a pick or whatever, because there are cables here that maybe you need to retain some of these things in order to, you definitely don't want to damage this button, because the fingerprint sensor button is hardwired to the logic board, and if you damage it, you will no longer have fingerprint recognition, so you can't do that. I mean, if you damage it and you don't really care about fingerprint recognition, it's not the end of the world. You can get online and buy a replacement button that does not have the fingerprint feature on it, and just use it as a regular button. But some people like that fingerprint sensor, so you just want to do your best to avoid damaging that cable in any way. So the next thing we're going to do is remove the display. So that is the very next step. Okay, so we're gonna lift up the display and get the battery disconnected here on this before we go any further. So, oh my god, what in the world has happened to this? I think we have our answers as to where the moisture damage occurred. It's a awful sticky substance, and I'm going to look over everything here to see, but it smells like perfume or something. What could it be? Anyway, I'm going to turn the camera off until I clean this mess up and determine what's going on. Alright, so I took it apart, and this looks nasty. I'm not sure exactly what it is yet. It has some sort of metallic paint in it, or at least metallic of some sort, because I rubbed my finger on it. It's oily, but yet it has a metallic feel to it. So whatever this substance is was clearly what was spilled in the device, and I'm going to have to clean it all up. The other display is no good because of the fact that whatever this stuff is got into the display as well, but it does not appear to have punctured the battery or anything, so I'm just going to clean this whole big mess up. And I had to do that anyway. I got to get rid of all these little glass fragments and everything like that. But yeah, that's where my starting point is at this point. So I will clean it up and come back to the camera. So, jumped ahead a lot. Didn't really mean to. Didn't have quite the time I was hoping to have on this one. And plus, I'm sure there's a million people that have done screen replacements on these iPads online. So, anyway, here's the screen restored on this iPad 7 2017. So, it is now fully functional, brand new screen. And everything works perfectly. That's about that for that. And I also obviously took the time to clean it up. It was in pretty bad shape, and the back was covered in paint and spots, and anyway, that's all fixed up now. So that'll do it for this video, and there we have a restored version of the iPad.